The Comedy Store would like you to know that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are strictly those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by the Comedy Store and its affiliates.
This is the Comedy Store podcast. I'm Eleanor Kerrigan. That is not Rick Ingraham. That is our producer,
we
Ari.
could pretend.
But he could be a child.
Yeah,
Ari,
whatever you guys want me to be.
Who doesn't shut the fuck up. And I'm just kidding. He'll never come down here. He doesn't even pay attention to the board. He fucked up Greg Fitzsimmons. Now he has a girlfriend, so we have to deal with that. We recorded another comic. It didn't come out. Now he's like, I'm on the road all the time. I'm a big fucking comic.
You know, to
Can't
be
do
fair,
anything.
the episodes that get fucked up are the ones where I can't be here. When I'm
Right.
here, they all work.
Right. But
Yeah.
you know, is that loud enough?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
Okay.
are you pretending you're doing something as a producer? I feel
I'm
like
doing-
Cort is more of a producer than you. We are here with the great Cort McCown,
Cort
and I'm
McCown.
excited to
And
have
a producer.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, you do your own podcast, correct?
Oh, yeah, I do.
What's the name of your podcast?
The name of our podcast is Insensitivity Training
And oh yeah,
with Joe Bartnick. Yeah.
Yes, I love Joe Bartnick.
Because if you do something with Joe Bartnick, it's insensitive. So.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
He's
He is
edgy.
He's
the
he's
biggest,
not
most-
edgy. He's the edge. He is the edge.
Wait a minute, that's Matt Egger's name. You can't steal that.
Fuck,
We call
Matt
him the
Edgar.
Edge.
Yeah, you call Matt Edgar the Edge.
Well, I don't. Most of the other comics do. I call him Matt Egger. They
Yeah.
call him the Edge.
The Edge.
Yeah, because
The
he's
edge
edgy.
of what?
I've never heard anyone call Matt Edgar the
Yeah,
Edge.
yeah.
I think
And
it
I-
started out.
And I'm
No,
like,
I'm
where
serious.
the fuck does he become edgy? I don't get
I
this.
think it started out as a joke, like Ryan O'Neal and Jeff Danish when they would host, they would bring him up as the Edge, and he was like the nicest guy.
I could see him. I could see someone calling him the bottom, because he looks like some dude's bottom.
Well,
you know,
he's
and-
going to get raped repeatedly.
Yeah,
so
I
you're
mean,
right.
it's
Yeah,
like-
he's
and
not.
it- you know,
he's
and-
not the raper.
No,
he's the
rapey. He's the rapey. I mean, to say someone wouldn't do well in prison, he would do very well in prison. He'd
Sure.
have a shit ton of cigarettes.
He'd have it made.
He'd have it made. You know.
Mhm. I mean, he'd
I
have
mean,
anal warts, but he'd have it made.
Yeah, he'd have a Yeah.
You're not very good as Rick, Ari. I thought you were going to chime in.
Oh, you want me to carry the podcast?
Yes.
Is that what
Oh,
we're
That's,
doing?
wow.
why do you
Wow.
think
Wow.
I let?
Boom,
Why do
baby.
you
Boy,
think
look at all that
I
road
do
work
it?
paying off.
I mean, this is
Right?
this is
Well,
a-
opening for Paulie
it's
really
very-
gives him
it's
the
very-
edge.
Hey, I also opened for the great Cort McCown once.
Where?
At
did?
La
Where?
Jolla Comedy Store.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't show up one
It was,
night.
yeah,
I
it was my
believe
first time.
that.
I missed a show for my very first time.
Ari, do
It's
you
very
understand how
unprofessional.
gross that is? Did you really miss a?
It was my first. I want you to know that's the first time and only time I've missed a show. I apologize to Cort as well as the world famous Comedy Store,
How
and
did
I
you
felt
miss a
very
show?
guilty. So what happened was,
If it doesn't include head, it doesn't count.
it was no sexual context involved. Cort asked me to do it, and then Emily asked me to do it. Of course, I jumped at the opportunity, was excited to do it. Then after I agreed to do it, Airbnb scheduled. This is such a boring story. They scheduled a
You have
meeting
no
for
idea
me
how boring
Saturday
it is.
morning. So I drove from La Jolla after the show Friday night back to LA. Then I tried to fit in this meeting. Then I drove back, but there was 4 hours of traffic, and I came 10 minutes late. Right when Brenton was on stage, Ryan got mad. Wouldn't
10
let me
minutes
go up
late,
a
and you
second.
had an 8-minute spot.
But you know what? In
15.
all fairness, I wasn't really pissed off at all.
No,
I wasn't
you'll
pissed
do
off. I
your-
felt bad for him. He missed a spot. Ryan,
have you ever
Ryan,
missed a show?
Never.
Not once.
I have.
That
Never.
makes me feel even worse. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
never
Okay.
missed a
Good.
show.
Thank God the carrier's back.
Yeah.
Here we
that
go.
came out wrong. I didn't mean carry. But Rick, we say you carry the show.
What we
That's
could do
why.
is we could just have him come in, and I'll edit this little segment out, and people won't even know. They'll think Rick was there the whole time because that's how good I was.
Do you think that's true?
Oh, I know it's not because we heard it through the
Irreplaceable? Interchangeable.
interchangeable, not really.
He just photoshops another face in. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's smart.
We were
Yeah.
talking about how he missed a show at La Jolla due to traffic.
He missed an entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the
15
MC.
opening
He was the
for,
MC, and he missed it. But
Wow.
The only person, but Ryan was pissed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
sure.
Ryan was really pissed off. I wasn't really. I didn't really.
But he's got to expect that to happen in La Jolla. I mean, there is shit ton of traffic a lot.
Well, they have a condo where people stay overnight. It was the Saturday show.
Yeah.
Okay,
now
he
it's-
left that
now
out.
It's completely
I was
unacceptable.
thinking it was the Friday show. It was the Saturday show?
Yeah, because I drove back to
Oh
LA
my
Friday night and then
gosh.
tried to drive back for the Saturday.
what a fucking
He sounds
asshole.
so
Yeah.
far away right now.
Yeah.
And I'm
Thank
so
God.
happy about it. Yeah.
I always want
You
him on
know,
the other side of the glass.
I don't deserve to be bullied. I deserve your guys' respect.
Jeez, who are you,
And
Caparillo?
I demand
Yeah,
an
right?
apology.
Stop with your
Yeah.
crying.
We're not bullying you.
I'll throw a glass at you.
You guys are
Yeah.
bullying me just like Joey
Bullying
Diaz
me?
bullied John Caparillo.
Wow, he's putting it out there.
Whoa, whoa.
Comedy
getting
store stories.
Yeah, we're
starting
gonna
already.
get in the middle of a huge feud.
Yeah, let's start that. Ari, you get in the middle of it because I feel like you have the clout to carry it.
I do
Yeah.
like
I have
that-
so much clout.
I do like that this tripod is 50 times the size of the camera that it's holding. I wanna
It's
say
pretty
that.
absurd.
It's very
It-
important.
It looks like you've got this tripod holding a paperclip. You
It's
know?
like a very big-legged woman. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
there you go.
very.
Well, so what happened with the show? Who emceed it? Did they just put up a local
we
guy?
just had one of the guys MC, and then Brendan. You know, I didn't think it was fair that since Ari fucked up and didn't make his MC spot, that Brendan should have to go on first.
Oh,
Because
no.
Who was the
because
other person?
Brendan Biddlecombe.
Oh, Brenton. Yeah.
And Cort was headlining.
And then
Yeah.
the other thing is
Whoa.
I called Brenton.
We're done with you.
And Brenton said, "Hey, I'll MC." And I go, "I'm so sorry." And he goes, "No, it's no problem." But then we didn't clear it with Ryan and Cort. We just
Well, Brendan
winged
didn't
it.
say
Yeah.
anything till like 10
Right.
minutes
Yeah,
before the
exactly.
show.
It's so different of you, Ari. You're usually so, professional.
I think you're being sarcastic, but I am
That's weird
normally
that you picked
I
up on
am
that.
normally professional.
And I will say that the 3 shows he did show up for, he did a fine job.
Oh,
Thank
I
you very
believe it.
much. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah.
But so Brenton didn't have to host. I mean, those guys down there are all comics. The door guys,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
the bartenders.
they should at least be at Ari's caliber of performance.
Whoa.
No, I mean, because they're really good down there.
just for making drinks.
And,
Yeah.
and I should also say I've never seen Ari do comedy ever.
Not yet.
I have.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
In my house.
Honest opinion. Just give him
That's
a little
just-
critique.
I'm going to say very funny.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's
Funny?
very funny.
All
He
right.
is.
Did you
I mean,
watch him?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, Ari's
God damn it.
great.
Well, I
Ari
mean, I
does
shouldn't say
well.
I watched him. I could hear him when I was in the green room playing Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best way to watch comedy.
Yes,
really.
it is.
Any
It is.
comedian. For
I
that.
like-
agree. I agree. You don't watch. I don't watch anymore, and I think it's from years of waiting tables in that showroom. I cannot.
You know
sit.
what's funny is recently I started watching again. I did. I haven't in years. You
Yeah.
know, it's just because, and it's mostly because you've seen the same people, especially being here as long as we've been here.
Yeah, it's
all of us
watching-
have been here for a long time.
It's watching reruns, even the ones you like. It's like I've seen this episode
Yeah,
before.
and it's like I've been on the road with a lot of these guys, so I've seen
Their
the
hours
I've seen,
and,
and
yeah.
it's just like ugh.
Although I watched Holtzman on Saturday night, and that's never a
Well, he's a
rerun
loose
because you
cannon.
never know
Well,
what
that's
the
not.
fuck is
But
gonna happen.
there's nothing rehearsed
Yeah.
or normal about that. guy.
Was
I
that the
asked
night
him-
that the lady got mad and stormed out, or was that Friday night?
That was Friday night. We
Oh,
watched
so-
Saturday
also
night in the
great.
main room. I did not. I asked him. I said, Brian, do you ever record your sets? Because there's some gems that you just throw out there that I never see or hear again. And he was like, I can't do that. That would make me learn something.
Yeah, that's a valuable point.
That was it.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
But yeah, so there's some that you can watch for me, I
Yeah.
guess. But I think from working in that room so long, you're right. It's
yeah,
a rerun.
I just don't like when I first got here. I watched it all the time, and then
Yeah,
I
because you're
think-
learning.
yeah, and you learn what works, learn what doesn't work. But I think at a certain point, at least for me, it was like I couldn't watch it because I don't want, especially since
Pick
I'm
anything up
yeah,
subconsciously.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to Robin Williams people
By
because
accident.
I'm crowd working someone and some joke I heard and didn't think about
comes in.
comes into my head
Yep.
and then I say it and then it's like, yeah, well, Rick's doing so and so's bit.
Oh,
So
Well, and I think, but you know what? I think that's interesting because there is so many now, especially today. There's so many comics and there's so many different. You're seeing it all on YouTube or you're seeing it all wherever, at Twitter or whatever the fuck it is.
right.
And I think there's a lot of premises that are going to get crossed. That's just
sure.
That's just
Oh,
the way
there's
it's going
only
to happen.
so many
Yeah.
premises.
It's just the way it's going to happen. But I think as long as you're true to yourself, which you are, I mean, you're doing your own thing. You do your own thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I come from my own. As long as you're being coming from you,
Yeah.
it's going to be different. It made, there's never going to be the same. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us are, there are people that do that.
Sure.
Not mentioning any names.
You're free
can.
to.
We have
yeah.
a disclaimer.
Yeah.
We
It's
talk a
all
lot
good.
of shit.
Yeah, but we know
Carlos, Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Oh, stop naming
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, there's people that do word for word.
Yeah.
They do take it pretty much word for word, maybe put a little twist on it.
Maybe.
And those are the ones that it's sad.
Yeah,
It's
and
sad.
they
It's sad
will
to
get
see.
called out because someone.
They will.
There's a lot of people who just like being combative in our industry. So
Yeah.
at some point, someone's going to call them out on it.
They absolutely do. And so I think it's like, and there could be nothing more embarrassing
Yeah.
than to be at some place and someone come up and go, dude, that's so-and-so's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
And you're
worst
like,
feeling.
oh, you just got to look like a fucking moron at that point.
I've literally heard a young comic do in La Jolla. He was one of the guys coming down open. He was doing Irera's bit about he has a friend that's a brain surgeon, and his brain surgeon friend was like, I wish I could be funny like you. That's Dom's
Yeah,
bit. You've heard that,
Yeah,
right?
I know
wish I
Dom's
could
bit.
be funny like you. And then Dom was like, really? Like you're
a brain
You're
surgeon.
a brain surgeon. You could be funny a little. He's like, I can't do brain surgery a little. And this kid was doing it, and he was 25 years old. And I thought, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's...
Oh, yeah, but the thing is
you
Dom
don't have
Herrera is his brain surgeon friend.
Right. The thing is, he's 25. He doesn't have a friend old enough to be a brain surgeon
Yeah.
yet. He's not out of
Yeah,
school
yeah,
at that
exactly,
point. So
yeah.
how are you using that? How is that real to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so weird to me.
I remember there was a comic that came in, and I won't mention names because
No, go ahead.
I'm
We
not
have the
going to, but-
disclaimer.
He's a good guy. He's not going to play our dirty game.
Yeah, but it's like, but he was doing Freddie Soto. And,
Oh, it's a constant. Yeah, you
and he
can
was-
say his name.
And he was doing Freddie Soto, and I was just like, you can't. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
fucking.
But you know
It's
what?
especially unholy in
back
this
off.
house.
I
Yeah.
will say that specifically in this house, that guy who you're talking about, when he came here, he did not realize how much of this house is Freddie Soto's.
Yeah.
And so all the guys got together and said, hey, you cannot do that. And then he was like, oh, I'm not. And he denied it for a little bit. And then he changed his tune and completely stopped.
Yeah.
Well,
Again,
Yeah.
but you
it's
should
like-
never do it. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it makes it right. I'm
He
just saying
might have gone on the road.
he got confronted.
In his defense, he might have gone on the road with Michael Wheels Parisi.
This is true.
And he got the Wheels advice. Yeah, just do other people's material. It's on the road. They're paying money. You got to just...
That is true. Wheels would give young comics that advice.
oh Jesus.
Yeah. And he would even... what was great about it, though, is that he would suggest, from his personal opinion, who he felt material you should do.
Oh,
Right.
that's good advice. I mean,
was
then
matching it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that's
he,
okay.
He wasn't just like, go out there and just do anyone's. It was like, specifically, who this
You
is
know who
would be good for you.
Yeah. You know who would be good for you.
It was like,
Yeah.
I don't
you know
think so.
You know who's better than you? This guy. Do
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
do it.
basically it.
Wow.
Do you know any Bill Burr? Because he's really popular right now.
And you seem
What?
kind of angry too.
Yeah.
You should be angry.
You got the whole the white
It's
guy,
to be
angry
perfect.
guy
It's to be
thing.
perfect for you.
All right. I mean, I don't know how this works. So
And here, have a cannoli.
Like an Oli King.
you like swordfish?
Yeah,
Swordfish.
You like some fish? We'll give you some fish with
He,
that.
ma-
That'd
he
be
did
good.
make great swordfish. I'll give
Did
him.
you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I went to his. He had a Christmas party one year. It was like maybe my second or third year in L.A. And I just decided I couldn't afford to go home or whatever. And so Wheels invited me to his place. He said he was doing a Christmas Eve thing.
Sure,
And
he's Italian.
At
that's
that point, he was pretending that Luca Polanca's place, like a block away from the Comedy Store, was his place.
Naturally.
course.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, man, how do you afford this place? Yeah, I bought it a long time ago. And then like a year and a half later, Luca's like, oh yeah, you been to my place? And I was like, well, no, I've been to Wheels. He's like, yeah, Wheels stays at my place. I was like, oh, that motherfucker. I fell for another Parisi.
There you go. There
But
you go.
yeah, so I went down there and made a bunch of steaks and fish, and it was delicious. That's when
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, Wheels can
No,
actually cook.
he is a great cook. Yeah.
And then once people started handing out, like they were swapping Xanaxes, and I was
Oh,
just like,
shit.
whoa, this is fucking a Hollywood party, man. This is how they do it. You want one of these? I'm
I
like,
could use
I don't
some
think so.
Xanax. You have any?
No,
Just kidding.
unfortunately.
I don't even know what it does. I just like the word.
It's good. It's good. It takes the edge off an 8-ball. I will tell you that.
I think that's what. Yeah,
Yeah.
it brings you
Whoa.
down.
Hold
brings it
on a
down. No, it
second.
evens it out a little.
I
It doesn't
Now
really
the
bring it
party
down.
started.
I
Hold
took it
on.
one time when I was in Alaska, not with wheels. A different
Okay.
time when
Proud
I was
of
there
you.
with Renazizi, and someone was like, "Hey, you want a Xanax?" I'm like, "What does it do?" And they're like, "Hey, it'll just make you have more fun." I'm like, "Whatever." I was already like 6 beers in, so I took it.
Oh, good
And
night,
then-
Susie.
Yeah,
With
I
the
took
beer,
it.
it makes it.
Oh, fuck yeah. You're hammered at that point.
I think I was up for another 2.5, 3 hours hanging out. Don't remember any.
I was
going
to say to you,
It was
probably
full
good-
blackout.
Full blackout.
Wow.
within 30 minutes of taking it. Just like people were like, "Yeah, you were pretty crazy last night." I'm like,
Valium used to make me black out. Xanax
Valium?
never did. Valium did. There was a time when I partied. You know,
Okay.
it's been a while now.
Yeah.
But
Proud of you for that,
yes,
by the
I'm
way.
proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I used to do a lot of blow. So it makes you a little edgy when you do a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I used to try to kind of even the
Keel.
keel
Yeah.
a little bit. So I would do like Vicodin or Xanax or some of these other ones. But I couldn't do Valium. It was like blackout city.
immediate.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And I used to drive, so it was before
Wait a minute.
Uber.
You drove on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that was the deal.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
like I know I got
way
here,
before.
but wow, that was great, man.
It's
Yeah, I
way
just had to figure
before
out where I parked.
enablism
Yeah.
went viral.
Yeah,
So
it was
that's
not
insane.
good. It was not good.
But you would drive coked up.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with driving coked up. It was like
It's
the
the-
30 other drinks.
Yeah, I was
had
gonna
in
say
me.
it's the whiskey you had with the
whiskey I
coke.
had, yeah.
Oh, because I had one of my exes. He wouldn't get a license because he was afraid to drive. Like he preferred to party, so he was like, "I'll just take fucking cabs, but I'm not stopping partying."
No, well, I used to just.
He was a responsible drug addict, if you will.
I was
Sure.
pretty responsible. I used to keep my coke in a metal Haida key underneath the inside the gas tank container.
Smart.
That
Yeah.
is responsible.
That is a good spot.
Hey, it's a good spot. Nobody really knows it's there. You know.
Now I do.
Yeah.
Now I know what I'm.
Not
gonna do.
anymore. It's
Oh.
not, but it
Yes.
used to be.
I knew a dude in college. We would eat mushrooms or whatever sometimes, and I knew a guy he didn't like mushrooms. He would always take acid, and so he knew a guy who always had acid, and he would take 3 or 4 hits and just be out of his mind.
Yeah.
And you'd be hanging out with him and be like, "Oh man, he's about ready to get crazy," and he'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna go." And be like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm just starting to trip, so I'm gonna get out of here." And you're like, "Wait, that's when you were waiting to start tripping?"
Yeah.
And then he would just drive like 40 minutes to Kansas City. Never had any issues. I wouldn't make it out of the parking lot if I was hallucinating.
When I was in college, we went to see the Who play in 1982. This was the
Wow.
Who's. This was their final tour.
Okay.
Their first
The
of
first
first
final?
of many final
Before
tours.
Keith finally.
Yeah, but this was 1982, and there was like 11 of us that we started in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and we were driving to Dallas, Texas, which normally is about a 4-hour drive, maybe.
Okay.
On the outside, maybe 4 hours. That's
Right.
if you're driving, normal
Speed
speeds.
limits then were probably, what, 55?
55, yeah, whatever it was. So I mean, it's normally about a
Shit,
4-hour
82.
drive.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and we left at like 6 a.m. and we got down there, I think about 7 o'clock the next night. Because we all decided we're driving. It's only going to take 4 hours. We got in the car. We go, let's just eat acid now. We've got more acid. We'll eat more acid when we get there. And I remember
Great
like
plan.
being somewhere on I-35 between Dallas and Oklahoma City at the sun's coming up and we're playing Frisbee on the interstate. Just
God.
fucking tripping our balls up. But a great concert, though. It's a great
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Totally
you
worth
remember
it.
it?
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
asking
Because
if you're
we
that
checked
high.
in. We checked into a La Quinta Inn.
Okay.
Everybody
All
showered.
class.
Yeah, all class. We had 2 rooms for like 11 people, and we took turns
I remember those
showering. We
days.
all showered and dropped another hit of acid. Went to the show. Had a fucking phenomenal time. It was a great concert.
Oh
Wow.
my god!
Thank you very much,
The
Roger
last
Daltrey.
The last
Yeah,
La
right?
Quinta that I stayed at was in Chicago when they had that Riddles Comedy Club.
Yeah.
So Renazizi and I went, and we were they got us rooms at the La Quinta, and we pulled up, and it's like in South Chicago, so it's like not the nice part of Chicago.
Yeah.
We pulled up, and there was 2 black dudes, and their pit bulls were just fighting, like in the grass right in front of the place. I'm like, wait, this is where we're staying? He's like, oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, totally.
So we go in, and a large black lady was working behind the thing, and she kind of gave us like, "What are you here for?" And we said, "Oh, we're comedians at the comedy club." She said something to the effect of we didn't look old enough to be comedians. Like we were just trying to trick her into
Liars.
giving us the comedians' rooms.
Right.
So she gave us our room keys, and we went to our rooms. And I remember Steve's room went to what appeared to be the nicer area of the hotel, and mine was down like the hallway that had like the blinking rape lights going on. We're like, wait, how come no one fixed these? So I go into my room and I kind of look around, and it's like the air conditioned unit is like detached from the wall, and there's like a good 3 inches of space where you can just see into the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is good. And then I walked into the bathroom, and there was just pubes all over the floor.
No way. Shut it. Ugh.
I get on the phone, and I call the lady, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I just checked in, and there's pubes all over the floor. She's like, there's what? There's pubes. Pubes? I go, yeah, it looks like the cleaning lady came in, cleaned the room, and then shaved her pubes in the bathroom. Oh, you're going to have to get a different room. I'm like, yeah.
You think?
So that's what I think of when I think of La Quinta.
I was caddying.
She's also working the desk.
Yeah, I was caddying.
True.
When I was caddying on the PGA Tour, we used to stay in shitty when you're caddy, you stay in shitty hotels. So I was in Tucson, Arizona one time, and I checked into this Red Roof Inn.
Nice hotel.
Yeah, nice hotel. And this
Good
and this is one of those, like, because you do it on like Priceline, whatever. So but I done it through Expedia, and it was like it was like $79.99 a night, whatever. It wasn't that expensive. And so I go in the room, I open the door, and there's chocolate and food stuck in the air conditioner, right, like that. It stinks.
Foul,
it fucking stinks in there. I walk in the bathroom. Someone had taken a shit and not even flushed it. It was sitting in the fucking toilet. The shit was sitting in the toilet.
This room's clean.
And I literally go back downstairs, and I was going to dinner with the guy I was caddying for. I go, I'm going to dinner. I go, either you get me a new fucking room, either you like go in and bleach that room and clean that fucking disgusting shithole up. Because I already paid for it. So I was like, there's how much I could do. Yeah. And then so I literally went to dinner. I came back. There's a different person at desk. I walked in. It was the same fucking thing. And I walked back downstairs, and I called fucking Expedia, and I was like, I am not paying for this fucking place. And I told the person, and they go, what are you talking about? It's not clean. I go, let's go. Let's go. And they go, what? I go, let's go look at the room. And they go, well, I can't leave. I go, let's go look. I was
Somebody
fucked.
No one else is checking into the Red Roof Inn.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and the person was like throwing up. Was like throwing up in her mouth. She was like, oh my god, like that. And
Did they give you another room, or
they offered to give me another room, and I said, I would not stay
Can't
in
stay
this.
there.
I can't stay in this hotel. If this room's like this,
The rest
God
of-
only knows.
that was the good one.
God only knows what has happened in the other rooms, which is fine by me. I mean,
you're sleeping on caution tape? Like, this is weird. I don't know.
We were in I think it was either a Hilton or a Hyatt in Wichita. I was doing the loony bin with Paulie, and so Paulie would make you share rooms with either the other comic if he brought one, or if not, then I'd have to share a room with the bodyguard.
Yeah, or whoever else was just at the hotel.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, anyone.
So just pick somebody, dude. Stay with that guy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know him.
I was sharing a room with the bodyguard, and then we walked in after the show one night, and there was a pretty cute girl working the desk. So Terrell went over and started spitting game at her, and whatever it was. And then he comes up like a minute, 2 minutes later, and he's like, hey, I talked that girl into giving me a room. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. He's like, yeah, so I'm down the hall. Come down, we'll smoke. So I went down to his room, whatever. We went down there to go get high, and we walk in, he's checking out. Oh, yeah, this room's nice, man. Way better view. And it's just like a view of, instead of the highway, it was like a view of some woods or something.
The tree. Yeah, a tree. Yeah.
So we go in there, and then he walks in, and he just goes, oh, hell no. And I'm like, what? And he's like, someone shit in the tub. I'm like, what? Someone shit in the tub.
Oh, my God.
And we went in, it was like someone
hell
had
no.
shit in the tub, and then they drained the tub, and it made it down to the drain, but there was like still just half the turd that like
I'm
made it to the drain and
so
just sat there.
spoiled. Fuck you
And I
guys.
was like, this is spectacular. They went down and tried to explain to the girl. She's like, it's what? He's like, someone shit in the tub, and then they tried to just drain the tub like the shit was going to go down the little holes. And she was like, do you want a different room? And he's like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, dude, he didn't even pay for it, but the look on her face was just like, I wonder if this guy just shit in that tub.
Yeah, I'll give you the last. I was staying. I went to do this tournament on the tour, and we're at Endicott, New York, which is like in upstate New York, fucking just shithole. I mean, there's nothing up there, and
too close to Canada.
Yeah, and all the caddies stay because you have to rent cars if you have to drive to the course. So there's the one where the golf course is right across the street from this like hotel / motel.
Yeah.
And all the caddies are like going, bro, we're all going to stay there. It's all great. Everyone rooms with somebody. It only costs you like $45 a night. It's great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so we check into this thing and it's a shithole. It's
sure.
I mean, it's a fucking shithole. It's worse than a Motel 6. It's this thing.
Wow.
I don't even remember the name of, but it's a shit hotel.
Yeah, it only gets people because of location to a golf course.
And it's like, the only time it's busy is during that week of the tournament,
right?
Because the tournament's right across the street. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll barrel it out this week. No big fucking deal. We stay in this thing. Well, I go to take a shower. There's like no shower pressure. I mean, the water it's like
trickle
a cat
out.
Pissing on you.
Yeah.
And
beautiful visual.
They don't have a heavy stream.
No,
anyway,
and
I don't like
so I go down and I complain, and I was like, what the fuck's up with that water pressure? Like water barely comes out of the sink to fucking brush your teeth. And she's like, and all the caddies started complaining. So she calls a plumber. A plumber comes there, and these pipes are from like 1950, and he unplugs the pipe. Well, what happens is the entire place, the water
pressure suddenly,
the
is
water
too
pressure
strong.
goes. Everything is black water. Like I mean, it's like the water is like black,
straight sludge,
like just sludge. And so everyone, I mean, like you would flush your toilet and sludge would go down and sludge would come up. And so the guy's like, and I found the fucking plumber, and he goes, just turn your water on and let it run. So I like went to caddy that day, went to do a practice round. So like 9 a.m, I turned all the hot and cold water on in the shower and in the sink and the tub and everything, and then left for like 6 hours.
Shut up.
And I came back and my water was fucking clear.
Perfect.
My water was clear. And all the other caddies, every fucking room has still got sludge. I charged them all $5 a piece to shower in my fucking room. Made the whole week up.
Why does Cort get water? You're like, because I wasn't afraid to flood this room.
Isn't in blackface like us? We all been showering in sludge.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's like
disgusting. Wait, what? Okay, I'm gonna get back to the Comedy Store stuff. What year did you start here? Like stand up, I guess.
Started here in 2002.
Stand up.
Yeah, I started.
Is when you started doing stand up?
Yeah, I started doing stand up in 2002. I started with Adam Barnhart.
Oh,
and
yes.
I did Sunday nights. I took Adam Barnhart's class.
Yeah, so did I. We did it together.
Yeah.
But
Well, I did it before you
in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, and then and I did his class, and then if you did his class, you got to showcase on a Sunday night, whatever. And then he liked me, so he was like, dude, why don't you come do Sunday nights? You set up the candles, and you get like 5 minutes, 6 minutes a night.
Great.
So I started doing Sunday nights. I did Sunday nights for probably about a year.
Yeah.
But do other open mics. I used to do Gower Gulch with fucking Painter and
That's great.
all those guys.
Yeah, buddy. What was the place called?
Gower Gulch. There was some shit restaurant at Gower Gulch, and that's when they had the brew house in Westwood.
Yeah. Oh, Brewco.
Brewco.
Brewco in Westwood was another one. And there was
that Adam Hunter was running it at that point?
Well, I don't know if Adam kind of ran it, but it was kind of like different people did it. So it was like, but you could get up there.
That was a great.
But I got
room.
I got a weekly spot here, which was great. And then I get thrown on a little show every now and then. And this is back when Duncan was here.
Yeah.
So and then I started my own show on Wednesday nights. I did with Paul Hughes. Paul Hughes and I did that.
That's right.
We started.
Was that the rock comedy thing?
That was. We used to call it PCP comedy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so we did PCP comedy up there on. We did Wednesdays once a month.
Where did you do it? Here
in the Belly Room. Yeah.
Oh, in the Belly Room.
Yeah, so we did the Belly Room on a Wednesday night, and he was, he'd been doing comedy for a while, so he was good friends with Cook and some of those other guys. So we would get great. We used to get great crowds. And so we built this show up to be like this great show in like a year. And this was about the time they were doing Minding the Store. And so Pauly was kind of getting a little more involved. And so we had these, with just tons of hot chicks used to come to the show.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
buddy.
We need them at the club, bro.
So,
Minding the Store, they were filming like 2004, 2005.
yeah, well, this was like,
Because
this
I
was,
quit because of it.
yeah,
so I
this was like
remember.
this was like right before they started filming it.
Oh, good.
So it was
Okay.
right, but Pauly was here more, back then. He was
Exactly
here-
why I quit.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
and but
No,
they
no.
had, so it was like, I think it was 2003 we started doing main room shows, and we partnered with Jay Davis.
Was that the rock comedy
That was
one?
rock comedy.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's when
That
we started
was my
doing
favorite.
that show. Was fucking
I used to make
unbelievable.
so much money on
Yeah,
that
but we
show.
used to pack that fucking room, and we used to pack the main room, and we have. I remember one night we had Harlan Williams, Dane Cook, Sarah Silverman. I'm trying to think. We had.
You had the other guy that I love that passed away. Fuck was his name? It'll come to me. Nice looking guy from Oakland. Can't think of what he passed away from. Mulaney, maybe?
Mitch Mulaney.
Not was it?
Mitch Mulaney. Yeah, we never had Mitch Mulaney on. We had him upstairs, but we never had him down in that main room.
Then maybe that's where I saw him.
Yeah.
He's he passed away, right?
Yeah,
That's
he
the right guy.
passed yeah.
He was really funny.
Yeah, he was a really funny
He was
dude.
silly, and he was never in the main room. I feel like I
No,
remember
we
him
never
standing at the door, and I thought, "Oh, good, that guy's here." He was
Yeah.
funny, and I'd never seen him
Yeah.
in our regular lineup.
Yeah, well, what ended up happening was we started, when we were doing the rooms upstairs in the belly room, I had a good friend of mine who ran all the nightclubs at the Palms Hotel in Vegas.
Yeah.
This guy Michael Morton used to come to the shows, when he was in town, and he was always like, "Oh man, you should be doing these shows in Vegas." And I was like, "Well, let me know." And so we had one night we did the main room, and it was just one of those nights where I had gotten, this was back before everyone had all these. I had sponsors. Like I had a magazine that sponsored it.
Wow.
I had all these different people sponsored. So they gave us money. And so we had step and repeat walls. We had all this stuff going on for the main room. And then Michael brought George Maloof to the show.
Oh, nice.
And this was a night where it was just packed to the gills. And after the show, George came up to me and he goes, "I want to talk to you about doing a show at the hotel." And this is when the Palms was the biggest it was the biggest
Oh my
thing
God,
going
yeah.
on.
It was huge.
Yeah.
And so we did our show on Wednesday. On Sunday night, we flew to Vegas. And on Monday morning, we signed a deal with the Palms to do what was then called the Hollywood Comedy Tour.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we would go there and we would do a show once a month. And we started out in 2003, March of 2003. We did our first show in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then by March of 2004 or 2005, I ended up getting Playboy as a sponsor.
Yeah.
So then we called it the Playboy Comedy Tour.
That's when I
both
did
you
it.
guys,
Yeah, yeah.
you guys all
It
did
was
the
awesome,
shows.
yeah.
But we had, everybody did that show.
Yeah.
Everybody that was, Freddie Soto.
Freddie, yeah.
Freddie did the show.
Favorite show. He
Colin
loved
Quinn. We had, Daniel Tosh before anybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Before anybody knew, this was Sebastian's first headlining gig.
Sebastian regularly. Everybody, yeah.
And we had all these people would come in. Bobcat Goldthwait did it.
Yeah.
We had everybody do this room, and it was such a great room, and it was like a 225 seat room. And, I did it for 8.5 years.
Wow.
So, and we went from doing
It's a long run for Vegas.
We did. We started doing once a month, and by the end of the last 3 years there, we did every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week.
Yeah.
And it was, we had Dice.
Yeah, I did it with Dice.
Yeah.
I think I didn't do it.
Jim Jeffries. We had.
Yes, I remember
Jim
that.
Jeffries used to do it.
That's sweet.
Only person I didn't get to do it was Attell or Burr, and those were the two I really wanted. Like I really wanted to get Burr, but Burr was at the time. It was difficult to get.
Yeah,
him
he
to
was
do.
just in that.
He was right.
big transition.
Well, he was in that big transition, and he was doing well.
Yes.
He was doing well. Not as good as he's doing now, but he was still
Right.
doing really well.
But the money just triples.
The
and
money,
you're like,
yeah.
fuck, I can't keep
and
up
and,
with
and
that.
I think at the time they were trying to get, there was two plays there. You could either do the shit club that you did 14 shows a week,
Yeah.
or you could
Yeah.
do.
That's the only other time I've done Vegas was at that shit improv at Harrah's.
Yeah,
That was the worst show
or
ever.
Laugh Factory, or
Yeah.
even Brad Garrett tried, and it's
you
like
never did the riff?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I was still too
new.
too green.
That was Ari
to book it. I think.
I didn't get to. Yeah, I wasn't around for that. And then, but then by the time and then the only other room there was Mirage, which was like
right.
Jay Leno and Seinfeld. It was like the big one. So we were this like young fucking thing, and it was so much fucking fun.
So hot. Yeah.
It was so much fun. I mean, I remember Riggle was doing the show one night. Rob Riggle was doing it, and like in the back, like was Lisa Lampanelli, who was doing the fucking main.
Oh, in the big room, right? The
Lampanelli
Pearl.
was doing the Pearl, which was 1,500 seats, and Riggle's in our room doing the show. Lampanelli's there watching it, and sitting behind her is Jimmy Kimmel, the guy from The Office. I can't remember his name.
Gervais?
No.
The American version.
The American version.
Ed
Steve
Holmes,
Carell?
The guy that's married to Emily.
Ed Helms.
Emily Blunt or whatever. The actress. In the actress. I fucking can't think of his name. John Krasinski. John Krasinski. John Krasinski and his wife now is Emily Blunt. So the three of them and they're dressed nice, and they like came in at for the beginning of the show, sat for the show, watched the show, and fucking and left at the end. It was like, I mean, we'd have like, I remember once Flea, Anthony Kiedis, and Sacha Baron Cohen were at the show, and Sacha Baron Cohen, not as Ali G,
right?
And doesn't want to be, you can't fucking talk to him like,
He just wants to hang out.
He's not in the character.
Yeah,
around.
But we'd have all these guys, and I remember Penn Jillette used to come to the show, and Penn Jillette would sit in the back, and he's such a big dude,
Oh my God!
And you could see him, and he would never laugh. He just didn't laugh.
Stop it.
Never fucking laughed. And then he'd come backstage, he'd go, "It was a great show. That was a really great show." And I'd go fuck yourself.
We saw your head.
Yeah,
it was not
asshole,
moving.
You didn't move once.
That's hysterical.
But then Colin Quinn told me, he goes, he doesn't laugh. He just doesn't laugh.
That's so funny.
And I was like, yeah.
How was Colin? Colin's one of my favorites.
He is probably one of my favorite people
he's so
in the world.
fucking angry and Irish, and I love him.
There's guys there there were guys there that I had. I had some of my favorites were like Patrice O'Neill.
Of course.
Patrice O'Neill was one of those guys, and Patrice was there with Ian Edwards, which was like, what a great show. I mean, it's like
that's awesome.
That's black on black crime.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
And it was so fun. And then you had like Robert Kelly.
Oh,
like
terrific.
Robert Kelly would, we do everything to make him throw up because he has this weird gag reflex. So if you show him something gross, he will throw up. So we would
awesome. He's so hard to not just try and do it all the time.
That's all you do.
I mean,
that's all you do.
It's a sin. He's probably bulimic or something. You guys are
no,
fucking
he's not
with
bulimic.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him.
Yeah.
He's
But
the opposite.
but she would do. That's the kind of shit we do all the time. Harlan Williams was there one time, and Harlan's cousin's one of the guys from. What's the band? I can't think of the name of the Canadian band. Barenaked Ladies.
Don't curse.
Barenaked Ladies.
I just asked a guy in the crowd tonight if he was in the Barenaked Ladies. He goes,
Shut up! Are you serious?
Yeah, I go, are you the lead singer of the Barenaked Ladies? He goes, no, but I am Canadian. And I go, well, you all look the same.
Yeah,
chubby white guy.
Well, we were there, and me and Harlan and his cousin were sitting backstage, and Sean Tweedley was on stage, and Sean was, he wasn't doing bad, but he wasn't destroying.
Right.
And we
I
just...
don't even know who it is.
And
I don't either.
He's a funny comic, and he does mostly improv stuff, but anyway, Sean was on stage, and Harlan goes, "Let's all walk across the stage in our underwear." And so we literally, because there was a place you could, remember at the stage, you could walk from backstage.
Yeah.
You could walk across the stage, and you could get off the stage and walk around to that side door.
Okay.
So we just standing there, and Sean is mid-joke, just talking to the crowd, and the three of us, just nothing but our fucking underwear, just start walking right across the back because the crowd starts going crazy. Sean thinks he's really fucking doing this great joke. He's doing this great joke, and
I'm
he's
not
just
even
not
at
even
the punchline.
Yeah, this is the joke I should have opened with.
I knew this one was gold.
Yeah, and
shit, this is a closer.
But we used to do shit like that all the time, man. It was the funnest fucking thing.
But what a way to come up, getting to work with all those guys, because you would host or open, right?
Yeah,
Paul would host too.
Yeah, I would.
Correctly.
But that was the difference. Is I got lucky in the sense that I had only been to a comedy about a year and a half. When I got that show.
Yeah.
And so I was still very green when I was starting it, but I got to do comedy 5 times, 6 times a week.
Yeah.
I got to get on stage and do 5-10 minutes,
Yeah.
which a lot of people don't. And I got real lucky in that, I got to do that. So when it came time to showcase
here,
I didn't feel uncomfortable. And I'd done movies and theater and all that stuff way before I did this.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
presence was already there.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable
and,
on stage, so it didn't bother me to be on stage. It was just material that needed work.
Yeah, I mean,
it still needs a lot of work.
When I first remember seeing you, I didn't realize that you were new to comedy.
Oh wow!
So I mean, it was just like, just some guy who's
been around.
just got to the comedy store or whatever, but. You definitely
presented yourself
as professional.
But then you heard my material and you're like, oh, no, this guy's new.
The second
you
started. The second.
I mean, I think I was probably still doing impressions, so I don't think I was judging anyone other than my Will Ferrell act that I was putting out there.
Well, it's funny because like I had auditioned for Mitzi. I'd showcased for Mitzi once, and I feel really lucky.
In the main room or the OR?
In the OR.
Okay.
I feel really lucky that I was around when Mitzi was here.
Absolutely.
I feel like, don't you feel like if nothing else, if tomorrow I don't ever have another spot here, I can say my name's on that wall because of Mitzi Shore.
Yeah, for sure.
And fuck all you guys.
Yeah,
got
through on the Tommy. Well, Mitzi said she liked your tape.
It's like
What?
It's like
my tape.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I remember like she used to pass you. She would pass you, not necessarily based on where you were.
Something she saw, something rare,
she saw,
something...
and she's like, all right. So, and I remember I'd showcased for her once. She didn't even look at me when I came off. My name was just crossed off, and you knew that because she would sit in the back with her popcorn or a glass of wine with her names on the list. And if you walk, and she would just cross your name off.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times what would happen was you would be up there, and other comics. Won't say who, but that
most of them
that didn't want to have other people passed would come up and start talking to Mitzi, and
intentionally
so that you couldn't showcase. And so Luca Palanca was a good friend of mine. I've known Luca for a long time, and I was up there, and he was working with Mitzi, driving
and
Mitzi.
Loved him,
and so he sat down next to Mitzi, and he goes, "Don't worry, she's going to watch your set."
Yeah.
And I sat down, and some comic walked up, and he just fucking shoved his head out of the way. And Luca goes, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And she watched my set. I had an okay set. It wasn't great, but I had an okay set.
But she paid attention, and that's
But she
important.
paid attention, and then when I walked off, she looked at me. She goes, "Do you want to get some spots?" And I fucking high-fived my ass all the way down the fucking hallway.
Hell yeah.
It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
But then what would happen was she would give you a spot the next week at 9:00.
Yep.
In the OR.
Yeah.
You would get one spot, and then you wouldn't get a spot for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's what she would do. She'd give you one.
Oh, I forgot about him.
No.
Okay.
But I heard later what the part of the thing was, and she told me this once when I was sitting in her office with her. She said, because I wanted to see if you wanted it. And it's like, so you would come. So if you got your spot, that's to let you know you're in. And then you've got Sundays and Mondays to come up here and work.
Right, because we did it both nights.
Because you could do Sunday and Monday. And back then, nobody wanted to go up on Sunday and Monday because Mitzi was here.
Yeah.
Right. So you could go.
There was no crowd, really.
There's no crowd. So you could go up every Sunday and Monday and do 10 minutes, literally walk in the door like you're fucking Louis C.K. and walk on stage. Like you would walk in and they go, "You're next.
Yeah.
You want to go up? You're next."
Yeah. I was getting the same treatment. Yeah. So that was the best.
I never got that treatment yet.
Because we were passed a lot, pretty close to the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got passed in end of 2003. So
yeah, I think I was like right around there, maybe 2004 even, maybe right in there. But it was right, where she was still very much here a lot. She would come in almost every Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but almost every Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, at least one of those days, and then everyone would just get panicked. And
everyone panic and just scatter, and you're like, okay, time to go on because you got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
if you're new, you got nothing to lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before on the podcast, but it's like I got passed because everyone else who was supposed to go up before me suddenly disappeared, and so then it was like, oh, I can't find anyone else. You're next. And then I was just showcasing for my job. And then she passed me, and I was awful. And I just remember being like, why would she pass me?
Well, because it's like funny. And it's like, and when you've been here for a while, it's like I think my favorite my favorite comedy store moment, if I have like a favorite comedy store moment, it's like one night I was here. I had a late night spot. It was like 12:15 or 12:30 on a Saturday night, and I was following Whitney Cummings.
Okay.
And this was a few years back, and so I'm sitting there, and I think Chris Rock had stopped in, and I want to say it wasn't Chappelle, but it was someone else like that had stopped in earlier. So now it's like 12:45. It's late. Whitney's up, and I'm like, oh fuck. You know, and the room is kind of pretty much thinned out.
Dissipated, yeah.
And then all of a sudden the room starts getting busier and busier and busier. And there's people starting to crowd in, and there's more people coming in, and it keeps getting busier and busier. And people are kind of talking and everything. And I was sitting in Mitzi's seat in the back. And I mean, and it really fills in. Like all of a sudden this fucking room is packed. And I turn and look to my right, and it's fucking Robin Williams.
Oh yeah. Shit.
And I was like, holy shit. And so Whitney brings up Robin Williams. Robin goes up, does like half an hour. He's basically there to make amends for, he just got out of rehab.
Oh, yeah.
So he's there to make amends to the Comedy Store.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, because he did some benefit, and he was like, it doesn't even remember being here. You know, he was like fucked up or something.
Yeah.
So he does that, and then he brings, and then he goes off stage. I go up, the crowd starts to leave, and I go, where are you guys going? I go, Bill Cosby's in the parking lot. And everyone laughed and
when
sat
that was still
down.
good, when that was
when
still
that was still
okay.
like a viable, when that
They
was
were
still
like,
a viable possibility that he's not in the parking lot.
Yeah, he's saying 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes before you got to go on.
Oh, okay. But it was like one of those nights, and then I had like this amazing set, and it was like, that was what, to me, the comedy. Now it's busy all the fucking time, except when I go on. Except my late night shit spots.
Listen, you know, we got here and it was packed, right?
Yeah.
Now, the both of us are going back to back tonight, and we'll be in front of 12 people.
Yeah.
And I'll be thrilled.
I'm fine with
be
that.
In
I'm
front
fine.
Of those 12
I'm at the
people.
point now where I'm reserved too. It's like, I just need to go work on shit, so I'm going to go work on shit.
Yeah, because this is not where we make our money. We make our money elsewhere.
Oh, I got it. I own a
Clearly.
All right.
You guys, thanks for having me on.
This was abrupt. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it, man.
Are you fucking kidding
It's
me?
always fun.
We love you.
And your Playboy comedy show in Vegas was a lot of fun. It was the first time I ever featured, and then Paul asked to both of us, me and the headliners, like, hey, do you guys want us to switch? And the headliner was like, listen, I know I'm not doing well after him, but I'm not switching, so... but yeah, thanks for being on, man. Do you
Rick,
have Twitter? Anything you want to?
At Cort McCown, or you can just go to CortMcCown.com. It's got my Instagram and my Twitter and my Facebook.
I like how you put your hat
Perfect.
on.
He's so
on
professional
upstairs.
and good looking.
So professional. Yeah, that Playboy comedy was a fun one to do. So.
About 7 minutes when I eat shit, I'll come back.
No, we don't want to. We're going to record your set. Have a good one. Anyway, sorry about that. We had to rush that, but whatever.
Yeah, let's just hope that it's recorded this time. You guys, the listeners are missing out on epic Dave Taylor conversation. That is just for the ghosts.
We will bring him back. I have a feeling that it didn't record because Tommy's right. The building doesn't like David a lot of times.
He thinks I'm white trash. He's the white trash one.
So if you can, please subscribe, leave us comments.
Yep.
Good or bad, we don't care.
Yeah.
Do it. Sorry we didn't have one last week, but we will figure it out.
Yep.
And
We're getting there, guys. We're not
stick with us.
goddamn
please.
millennials.
We're
We don't know how this
crying
shit
about
works.
It. We have a millennial that's running shit over there, and
when he shows
I think
up,
he's a millennial. How old are you, Ari? Are you considered a millennial?
I am 27. I believe I am a millennial.
Yeah, that's a millennial for sure. He's a elderly 27 though.
Are you saying I don't look? Is it the beard, or always I just?
No,
look
I
old
mean,
for my
It's
age?
your
I just mean,
mannerisms,
yeah,
the way you
just-
act, the way you
carry
talk.
yourself like an angry
You're
35-year-old.
saying I'm very mature and wise.
That's
I
exactly
appreciate
right.
that.
I
Thank
wouldn't
you.
say that. I
Yeah.
would just say that you're very slow
Oh,
to the punch
okay.
and everything
Physically.
else.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I played softball today, and I am very fast.
Did you get any
God
hits?
damn.
Yes, I did.
Okay, like what? Single?
I got a double. No-
Really?
No home runs.
Because of
no.
an error?
No.
God
Just
damn.
asking a
Such
question.
a
You've
bully.
seen me play softball. I'm not bad.
Such
I
a
have
bully.
seen you play softball.
Apparently, you haven't.
Eleanor's
But we
such
have.
a
Yeah, we
bully.
played
I
on
am
the
a bully.
contest.
It's my new thing. I'm going to be a bully.
I want to call my first comedy special American Bully, just to push the idea
Canadian
that it's okay.
bully.
Well, but I'm not a Canadian. I don't want people to get confused and think
you're
that I
right.
am a Canadian
But you bully
bully.
Canadians.
I love
and
bullying
I think we should
Canadians.
all do that.
Filthy icicle chuckers, and we don't need them in this country.
I mean, spit. All right.
Come to the Comedy Store. Check out a show.
Thank you so much for listening.
Follow Eleanor and I online as well.
Oh,
at
yeah.
our Twitter and
Instagram,
Facebook and Instagram. All the good stuff. MySpace.
I am people. MySpace.
We're getting around to
MySpace
it.
is blowing up.
Yeah, it's like the Comedy Store lawyer always tells me, it's like you could be for virtual reality what Dane Cook was for MySpace. I don't know what that means. But check it out.
Sounds like your career's in good hands, and I'm happy about
it. I'm going to be so fucking famous by 2035.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm hoping not to be alive by then.
I won't be.
We'll
Diabetes will strike me before then.
Bite your tongue. You have things to live for. All right.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.